Yo, what's good, gang? Talk back another video. And today, boys, we got Chicago. What would I do? What's next, basically, for the Chicago Bears in the 2023 season, 2023, 2024? Damn, we're far along, So we're gonna be talking about the Bears. We're doing this for every team. If you guys are interested, subscribe to see your favorite team when they come up. Or I've done the Texans already. At the time, they were the number one overall pick. Now the Bears on the number all overall pick. In that video, I said it wouldn't make a big difference, who got the number one overall pick. It does. It really does. We'll discuss that. But yeah, like I said, subscribe to see your favorite team. Or if you're a Texans fan, go click on my last video. That's I did one for the Texans. And then I'm gonna do one for every team. So yeah. But yeah, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna talk about free agency, the draft, how their season went. I think they finished 3-14. I forgot to write the record down. I have a thing of notes right here that I'm supposed to remember. But I forgot to write that on there. I should have wrote that on there. But let's start off with their needs going in this. Well, actually, let's time out. Pause about this year. Justin Fields is the main player we're going to talk about, I guess, with evaluating the Bears. Because right now, as the Bears offense is Justin Fields. That's it. Justin Fields is the offensive player there, and I really like him. I think he's a good player. His mobility. See, whenever I know people compare Justin Fields to Lamar right now, was calling him a running back and all that stuff. Whenever Justin Fields was coming into the league before he was drafted and all that, I didn't see that. I know people said he was mobile and he could run and stuff, but nobody was. Whenever Lamar came to the league, there was the notion that people wanted him to switch positions. Nobody was saying that about Justin Fields. Nobody was saying, I didn't realize how good of a runner he was at first, and I think that's something like I feel like Justin Fields has the potential to be a better passer than Lamar is. I think Lamar's electric, and I think he's one of the best players in the league. And then you talk about Justin Fields. If he gets it together and the Bears put the players around him, I think they could be really dangerous. Because if he could run like a Lamar, but he has a better arm than Lamar, and he's accurate. He worked well in a good offense at Ohio State. But yeah, I didn't really see him as much of the kind of Lamar comparisons he's getting now. I didn't see that as much whenever he was coming in, but it was kind of interesting. We'll talk about it though. But yeah, with Fields, he did struggle early on in the year. I'm a Niners fan. I watched that horrendous Week 1 game. Justin Fields didn't have a good game Week 1 against the Niners. They won that game off of basically blown coverage by the defense, and then there was a couple of games in a row where, like, to start the year, where people were making jokes about him not going over like 120 passing yards, and then he kind of turned it up, but not really in a way. Like he started to turn up in the run game. He started running the ball a lot more as the year went on, and he did suffer some injuries at the end. Nothing too crazy though, so I hope he's good. But yeah, so I think Justin Fields is their franchise quarterback. I think he's really talented, and I think Matt Nagy tried to ruin him, but he didn't do too bad. But I think they need to get better, surround him with better talent, because I feel like there's going to be some bad habits that he's going to build off of this. Because I feel like Justin Fields, his rookie year and early on in this year, he wasn't running and doing all the stuff. He was trying to be more of a traditional quarterback, and then he's like, "Fuck, I'm just going to do it myself," and he started doing that. So yeah, but let's talk about the Bears' needs. Number one, in my opinion, is the offensive line. The whole thing, basically. Number two is receiver. Number three, edge, and then I have defensive tackle. Um, let's start with the O line. I guess we're gonna basically kind of transition this into free agency. For their tackles, they just need to be healthy. I think Tevin Jenkins is a solid tackle when he's healthy. I don't think he's really been healthy. I think he missed like most his rookie year. Um, but I think you roll with him and Braxton Jones, who was a 5th round pick this year out of Utah, something I can't remember. Um, but they kind of played solid, and Braxton Jones played okay for a rookie, but most of the time we're offensive. We saw Evan Neal as an offensive tackle struggle. We saw and Andrew Thomas, his teammate, struggled as rookies. I believe he has room to get better. And if he can't get better, and then Tevin Jenkins could stay healthy, I like that offensive tackle duo. I don't know the ceiling of it, but because we really haven't seen either of them play at too high of a level. But I think they could improve. So I think I would run with Tevin Jenkins and Braxton. Just actually, let's talk about their upcoming free agents. Actually, before we move on to any of the other positions, The big one is David Montgomery. I don't know how Bears fans feel about this, but how much money is David Montgomery going to want, and is it worth signing David Montgomery, where he's kind of been injured? I know he's been injured this year and then last year. I just don't think David Montgomery is that good. I'm sorry, Bears fans. But yeah, I think he's okay. I just don't think he's nothing crazy. So I would let him walk in free agency personally, and then you have Charlie Blasingame, their fullback. I would resign him. He's cool. He's a cool fullback. Then you have N'Keal Harry. You also have Dante Pettis and Byron Pringle, I think, coming in free agency. Let them walk. None of those three receivers are that good. I guess you could bring back N'Keal Harry. I think they traded a 7th or 6th rounder for him. He played okay. I wouldn't mind him as their 4th receiver. I don't think he should be getting, starting reps over some of the other guys. Then Riley Reef, who was kind of injured, I think, for them. That's why Braxton Jones kind of got to play a little bit. I wouldn't resign him either. I think he's like 35 or 34, something like that. So he's older, coming off an injury. I think you just roll with the 2 young guys and see what they got. There's a bunch of other ones. I didn't write them down because a lot of them I didn't even know who they were. So yeah, my bad. But I think those are the notable ones. And so let's go on to talking about the running back, David Montgomery. I think you let him walk. You have Khalil Herbert there, who actually showed good promise as he's, been there. I think if you were to bring a guy in for free agency, I have Rashad Penny. Interesting kind of player. He had a really good year. He's looked really good when he's healthy. I don't know. I think his deal would be kind of a lot cheaper than a David Montgomery deal, or you just draft a guy in the later rounds. 4th, 5th round, even 3rd if you really wanted. Draft a running back, have him sit behind Khalil Herbert, and you have a 1-2 punch with somebody, and they'll more than likely be fine. Now, the main thing I feel like I said, for this offensive line, I think you roll with Tevin Jenkins and Braxton Jones as your tackles. You have Cody Whitehair, who I think he's okay. I don't know how good he actually is. I know he was solid a couple years back. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Bear games. But I think you keep him there. I think he's listed as left guard. I know he played center for a while. So my main concerns for the Bears is keeping their guys healthy, and then you also got to bring in a center and another guard, in my opinion, to help that. So for your center position, I have Connor McGovern, Garrett Bradbury, Bradley Bozeman, who I would look to bring in free agency. Any of those 3 guys, I feel like would be an upgrade over whoever they else. I can't remember who their starter was. Oh my god, this is my fault. My bad. But he'd be I know they would be better. So would improve your center immediately. And then guard, I have Nate Davis and Daniel Brunskill. Nate Davis I think he's like 26 from the Titans, right? He's actually played pretty well. I like him. He's part of that Derrick Henry whenever Derrick Henry's going off, but he's a free agency. I could see the Titans resigning him, though. And the Daniel Brunskill is a guy I like on the Niners. I'm a 49ers fan, if you guys don't know. But we have our guys. We have Spencer Buford, Aaron Banks. Daniel Brunskill actually has been rotating in with one of our rookies this year, and he actually plays pretty well. I think he's a good guard, and I think you could get him for pretty cheap. So, and he could play either guard position. He's really good at it. So if you have an injury, I think he's a good guy. Even if he isn't a starter, he could fill in at either of the guard spots for you if you need. So I would personally, I would like that. So in that receiver, it's kind of a weird position. Darnell Mooney, I'd like they tried to bring in help. They traded for N'Keal Harry. They traded for Chase Claypool, who I think is just a faster N'Keal Harry. I'm sorry, but he gets more targets too. But they have Darnell Mooney, who I like. I think Darnell Mooney is an awesome receiver. Who else? They brought in Velus Jones in the draft last year. I think he's more of a special teams guy, kick returner. I don't think he was that. I don't know why they drafted him, really. I was hoping they would have traded up and got like Christian Watson or George Pickens last year, but they didn't. They decided to stick and go with Velus Jones. I don't know. I think that was in the 3rd round, or something. I can't remember. But I was like, I didn't like the Velus Jones. I don't think he's really gonna be a starter on this team. So you're kind of you're hoping Chase Claypool could evolve and become your number 1. I don't think he can. Sorry, that's just me though. Maybe he does. Maybe he goes crazy and he helps you Bears fans out. Because you traded like a 2nd rounder this year, which is like the 1st overall pick in the 2nd round this year, like the 1st pick in the 2nd round this year, which Chase Claypool, I don't know, but he can be good. I know he had a good rookie year, and then I think a down sophomore season. He does have tools. He's big. He's fast. Yeah, I don't think he's an okay route runner. But I think him, and then you have Darnell Mooney. I guess kind of in the slot is the number 2 guy. I think I would have him working as a slot. You kind of need that number 3 or can be number 2. I have Jacoby Myers and is a free agent. Well, he is a free agent right now. I don't know if the Patriots resign him. I think they do because I think they like Jacoby. He's like I think he's 6'2", like 6'2". He's a little bit bigger. He is kind of a slot there though for New England, so it kind of be weird. I think Darnell Mooney does work on the outside, and I think Jacoby has the size to work on the outside a little bit more too. So and he would just be a good reliable. He's been reliable for Mac Jones. Pretty consistent guy. And then I have them bringing in some speed too. I would like to see them bring in some speed because they don't like Darnell Mooney is a deep threat. So is Chase Claypool. But another guy, just to threaten them even more. Because I feel like Mooney and Chase are going to be working more underneath, and then you're going to have the other guy stretching the field. DJ Chark for the Lions, I think was a really underrated signing for the Lions. I think he's a good. Oh my bad. I think he is a good deep threat, and then he's also been really good as just a normal receiver. I could see the Lions wanting to hang on to him though. But with Jameson Williams back, I think they could move on from him. And I think he's a guy who really hasn't got his full potential. I think in Jacksonville he was injured a little bit. He's was injured, I think, with the Lions, and then he came back towards the end. He had a good end of the season, basically. And the Darius Slayton of the Giants, kind of just a deep threat guy. I think that could help Justin Fields. So yeah, that's basically the guys I would look at for free agency, or what I would try to sign for to help this team. If you bring in a center and a guard and one receiver, honestly, like your chances. I think that Connor McGovern, Garrett Bradbury, Bradley Bozeman. Either of those 3 guys at center would be a upgrade. Nate Davis or Daniel Brunskill. Nate Davis is obviously, I think, is the best guard in this free agency. And then Daniel Brunskill is a guy who could play solid starter minutes and rotate wherever you want. Either guard position. So you have flexibility right there, and I think that greatly improves your O-line. And then if you could get Tevin Jenkins to stay healthy, and same with Braxton Jones, and then receivers bringing Jacoby Myers, DJ Chark, or Darius Slayton. Either of those guys are upgrade as your number 3, and they help that greatly improves that offense forward. Justin Fields, in my opinion, nothing. It's like there's not a lot of elite free agents like that. I think the Bears could go after. I don't think there's that many great receivers. The centers and guards are like, if you want anything like Saquon, I don't know. I don't think it's worth spending money on a running back at this point, though. Especially how good their running game has been because of Fields, and I don't think David Montgomery, adds that much to it. I think Khalil Herbert and bringing a guy in the draft or a free agency for cheap could replace his production pretty easily. And now the draft, which I said in my Texans video, it don't matter who gets the number 1 pick. It does. The Bears. You pick number 1 overall now. If you are drafting somebody, I think you take Will Anderson. Edge rusher greatly improves that defense automatically. Edge does so much for your team. It makes your corners have to play. If you're able to get pressure rushing 4, you don't have to blitz. You have more guys in coverage. Makes your corners have to cover for less or your linebackers play more aggressive because they know the quarterback's not going to get time to throw the ball because they got a guy screaming down his neck. Or I trade it. You trade that pick and you get a bag. You're gonna have the Texans calling you because they're gonna want to draft Bryce Young. You're gonna have like the Colts calling you about a trade, probably even the Lions, maybe. Who else? I don't even know who else is up there. I think the Panthers. Like you're gonna get calls for that number 1 overall pick because people are gonna want to select Bryce Young. Because they know if you select Will Anderson and number 1 overall, Bryce Young is going at number 2 to the Texans. And the Texans know that, so they know people are going to be calling he trading, so they're going to try to trade up. I don't know what the hell they were doing in that game against the fucking Colts. So I think it's Will Anderson, I personally would trade everything away because you're going to get a bag. You're going to get a lot. It's going to be like, I think it would be similar to when the Niners traded up for Trey Lance. It was like 3 first-round picks, so if you could get a team like the Lions who have pick at like 6 or 12 or whatever, too, like You could get a first round pick this year. That's an early pick, and you could use it to select an edge rusher, a lineman, or one of these receivers. Not great, they're okay receivers. One of these receivers in this class, and and you get first round picks for next year, or you could get a dog player. Like you could get Chase Claypool, like is number one guy maybe, or not Chase Claypool is number one guy. Justin Fields is number one guy, or you improve on the offensive line. I think you trade the pick, in my personal opinion. If you have a good free agency where you bring in a center, a guard, a receiver, and then you trade away that pick, and then you get a crap ton of draft capital, or you get a player that helps your team. I think it's a really good trade because then you build the rest of the team through the draft in the later rounds. You're like, all right, we really like this guy as a developmental guard or center, and let him sit. And, that's how it works. I think that's what I would do if I were the Bears. I would go kind of all in on, not all in, not, you don't need to go sign the, crazy players, obviously. Get the good players, get some solid alignment around Justin Fields, get a receiver, and then trade away the number one overall pick. So next year you go in, all right, we got all this draft capital for the next draft and the draft after that. We're gonna see what Justin Fields does with his improved weapons, his improved offensive line, and because even if Justin Fields sucks, I'm sorry, if Justin Fields is a bust next year, take your guy. I've seen scenarios where they trade Justin Fields and draft Bryce Young at number one. I don't think they do that. I think would Bears fans be mad at that? I don't know, because I feel like Justin Fields is like keeping the Chicago Bears fans alive right now. Like I feel like he's like the most exciting player besides until that Khalil Mack trade was exciting. Then he really didn't do too much. But yeah, that's what I got for the Bears. Let me know what y'all think. I think the Cardinals are the next team we're gonna do. The Niners beat them. They just fired Cliff Kingsbury. Was that today? That was today, earlier this morning. But yeah, sorry I was gonna get this out for the weekend, but then I wanted to wait till the final games and till the draft was basically settled for these teams that I'm gonna be talking about, the teams that aren't in the playoffs. I'm probably expecting the Cardinals video. I'm gonna try to get it out tomorrow. I want to do the Cardinals video tomorrow. I could do some other video. You might see this tomorrow and the Cardinals video tomorrow because I don't know if I'm going to get this out tonight. 7 o'clock right now, but I should. All right. Until next time, it's your boy Tabo. Peace. Shit, I didn't press.